your 5-minute flow. Today we're going to go through a quick recovery for cyclists practice. So we're going to start today's practice in downward facing dog. So you can come into your downward dog from all fours, fingers spread wide on the mat, toes tucked under, and lift your hips up and back. Take a few breaths here. Just starting to settle in and find some movement. If you've been biking, odds are you need to wiggle out those legs. Say hello to the back of the legs, a nice little stretch and tug here. And then find some stillness in this upside down V with your tailbone tilting up, sinking some weight down through the chest. And then today we're going to step forward just a few steps to find a slightly shortened dog. So a place where your heels can touch the mat. So it's okay if you're pretty close to your hands here. Find that place where the feet are stable and you're still dropping your head and your heart. We'll slide the right foot over to meet the left and then cross the left behind the right. So you're thinking of touching the pinky sides of your toes together. Now in this cross, it's likely that your heels have popped up off the floor. So we're just gonna sink back, reconnect the heels. Take a few breaths. And then walk your hands back to your feet, coming into a forward fold. So you can keep your fingertips down on the earth here, or if it feels okay, you can come to a ragdoll shape, holding opposite elbows, maybe even a little bit of movement. Hands come back down, we'll walk it forward. Carefully uncross the feet, reset into that short dog, where your heels can drop, this upside down V shape. And then left foot slides over to the right, right foot will cross behind, pinky sides of the feet together. Drop the heels back down. Notice that space behind the back leg. See where you can relax through the low body here as we walk the hands back. Finding that fold, maybe back into your ragdoll arms for a little sway. Bring the hands back down to the mat, walk it forward, carefully uncross the legs, pedal it back out as you find your downward facing dog. From here, bend your knees, look forward, and just slowly take your feet to the top of the mat. Breathe into a halfway lift, hands to your shins or thighs. Think of lengthening through the crown of your head, pushing your tailbone back, and then squeezing your shoulder blades together. Get that nice opening across your chest for a breath. And then slowly fold forward. Option here to grab blocks if you have them. One under each hand as we step the left foot back. And I'm going to grab a blanket too today because I have kind of a bad knee, so I like a little extra cushion. So always an option to have a blanket handy here. I'm going to wiggle my left toes back as I find this lunge, 90-degree bend in the front knee, and then drop that back knee down. So we have the blocks to help bring the earth a little closer. You can walk your hands back here, bringing your hands under your shoulders. We want to find an open chest, shoulder blades roll down and back. And really start to sink the hips here. So notice if your hips are back over that back knee, can you shift some weight forward, really feeling it on the front left side into your hip flexor. So hands can stay on the blocks. You can keep your back toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels okay. Or you can bring your hands up onto your thigh. Just kind of take that gaze ahead. Think of relaxing your shoulders and just sinking the hips in. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Working to let go of wherever you're holding on and gripping that tension in the body. We want to sink into this stretch, and you can stay here much longer than I am right now. And then if you've got those blocks, we'll bring the hands back down to blocks, walk it forward so your hands frame your right foot, left toes tuck under, left knee lifts. Take a little scooch forward, setting up for that big step to the top of your mat. Resetting with that active halfway lift. Breathe in as you lengthen. Exhale, hands back down to the blocks. Left foot stays stable. This time the right foot travels back. Again, sinking into that lunge in the front knee and then wiggling your back toes back. Making that space is what's going to help as you sink the hips into this lunge. Again, resetting the blocks. Hands under shoulders so shoulders can stack over the hips as you sink back in. And then decide where you'd like to stay. What adjustments you'd like to make for your body. Just settle in. You can always use your breath to help the body relax. That's a really good way to just remind the nervous system that it can let go. We don't have to push and work hard. We can slow that inhale and exhale. Sink the hips for one more breath here. And then slowly take that reset, walking the blocks forward. Tuck your right toes under, lift your right knee, carefully inch forward, and then a big step together. Go ahead and set your blocks off to the side as we come down onto our backs. So setting up in a bridge position, feet grounded, knees lifted, arms just resting by your sides. Start to plant your feet into the floor with your heels nice and close to your glutes here, and just lift up slowly. We don't need to find like the biggest, tallest back bend, but just a place where it feels like your knees and your shoulders could draw one straight diagonal line. Give your glutes a little squeeze. Maybe feel that engagement through your legs. And then slowly roll down. We're gonna come up and down a few times here with the breath. So starting with that pelvic tilt, turning the tailbone up as you lift. And then from the top of your spine to the bottom, slowly lowering back down, ending with that little pelvic tilt the other direction. You'll feel your low back pull away from the floor. Drop the low back down as you tilt the pelvis and lift back up. And then back down one more time. From here, hug both knees into your chest, roll your shoulders back and down. And we'll find happy baby. So go ahead and spread your legs open, knees toward your armpits. Always an option to capture that hamstring side of the leg, just giving a little hug in. Or if it's in your practice to reach all the way up and bind with the feet, find that hug of the feet down, knees opening, keeping the shoulders and the back body relaxed on the mat. Let's take just 3 slow breaths here. Again, just letting the body settle in, not pushing, not fighting. I'm feeling a little resistance. And then slowly let it go. Hug your knees back into your chest and rock up to a seat. We'll take one final, more restful shape here. And I've got some props, so if you have these props at home, you can make the shape that I'm making with them, or you can kind of just substitute. We all have some kind of pillow or cushion at home that we can use instead of a bolster, and you don't need to have blocks. You can use other blankets or pillows just to make kind of this little ramp to lean up against behind you. And I'm going to use a blanket today just to roll up into kind of this long burrito shape to go under my knees as we find a reclined Baddha Konasana. You might know it as butterfly pose. So feet together, knees opening. And this blanket roll just provides a little extra support under my knees. You can use blocks there or rolled up blankets on each side. And then we'll just lean it back into a little back bend, a heart opener over this pillow. Palms facing up as I drop my arms open. Big sigh out. Just giving into this restful shape. Maybe a little more openness in the hips. And a nice stretch through the front side of the body. And just relaxing. If you've been biking or running or doing any other kind of exercise, or really just living life these days, can be very tiring. We need this rest. Your body needs recovery. So take 3 more slow breaths here. Good, and then we'll guide the knees back together. Carefully tilt your chin to your chest, rolling up to a seated shape. Thanks for taking some time to join me. If you're catching this when the newsletter hits, there will be a live class coming that Sunday after RAGBRAI, so make sure you check out for the link and get signed up or come join me if you want to get a little longer practice working into hips and legs. Thanks for being here.